Good morning. We are going to try a little bit different technique today of working a simple pen, any kind of pen, onto a very wet watercolor paper. And then we're going to play with this Ecolina liquid watercolors. We got some Van Gogh watercolors that I've already prepped over here. I have various colors that I've put in my little egg container. Those things are pretty pricey now. So I'm going to just show you this. I really think this is fun to do. I also have some Pantone markers we're going to use. This is going to be a couple different videos, I think. I'm going to have to break it up. For one thing, I don't know when my son is going to be awake. So we'll just have to play it by ear. And I'm going to make a lot of marks here using the pen, and you can see how it kind of spreads out in the water, and I love that effect. It gives an instant gradient. It gives a feeling of depth even, and we're just going to keep playing with this, building this surface up. This is going to be a couple different videos in regards to this one, because I think it's going to be too long in one video, and I'm going to let things dry between, and that way we can have the opportunity to add more material and experiment a little more. You can see how wonderful that gradient is. And yeah, you're right. I could have taped this down on the desk, and I didn't. Oh boy. So this is another one of the videos from my tiny desk, because this is where I've been able to do the videos. I haven't been able to do many from the main studio. Normally Kristen helps me over there. We use the bigger camera, and we do all the different things that she does, magic words she uses when she does it. The main reason is that she's been working a lot of hours, which some of you already know that. But right now, because I have Hugo, my son, is on vacation, spring break. So a lot of times I get an hour or two in the morning, maybe an hour, I should say, to do some artwork here at the tiny desk. My studio is that way, over there. I can see it from here. And that's where I do most of my work, is over there. So again, building up some surface, some depth. We're going to add some of the watercolor at some point here. And you see I added a little tree, and I don't care if it's running right now. I don't care if it's kind of going crazy on me. I want it to do that. I want it to spread, create that gray scale. And then it's kind of fun, because then we can fill in with the colors, and we can start to really develop the narrative. So let me explain to you what you're looking at. So we live very close to a place called Leicester River and Amity Creek. And those are 5-minute drive or about a 10-minute walk, really. It's almost the same to walk there than it is to drive. So I ski there. I'm cross-country skiing there. They have bike trails there, which I don't do anymore, and hiking trails, which we adore. And they have these big rocky outcroppings, and the water's just kind of flowing through the middle. So, and there's some bridges and such there. In fact, I don't know if I'll add a little bridge. Maybe I'll add a little bridge to this one. So it's a little more representational than you're going to see with much of my other work. I tend to be a lot more abstract, representational to straight on, what is that? Today is a little more representational. And that tree kind of vanished up there, didn't it? So I'm going to go back in and define it a little bit more. Kind of hanging on for dear life on the edge of that cliff. Maybe it has a little branch hanging off. I did paint a lot this morning early. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, not feeling great. And so I got up and painted for a while. Had a good painting session. I went over and looked at it a few minutes ago, and I grabbed the supplies to do this. And I think it's okay. It's still drying, what I did today. Well, the soft pastels are not drying, they're done. So again, building up some texture, Sometimes I add buildings to these. Sometimes I add a bridge. I don't know if I'll add a bridge into this or not. Maybe I will. Do a little spritz here. Just a hint of a bridge across this thing. Some funny looking bridge. I'll tell you what, my double cappuccino's affecting my hands this morning. Definitely feeling it. You see the darks. And you can use any pen. In fact, sometimes I'll use other pens that are blue as well, and do the same technique to create even different, even some other variations on color. I really believe experimenting with materials helps to expand your brain. All right, I'm getting close to thinking I'm going to add some other kinds of color here. I want to show you some other fun color things, and we can come back in with the pen. But you can see it's really developing some. You can skip ahead if you want, or you can stay right here with me and enjoy the drawing. A little pink flower down here, I think. The show circuit is getting going for the year. I'm doing a few of them. The entries are coming in. I've been rejected from a few, but I got into a few. So, you know, that's the name of the game around here. I think that it's hard in three to four pictures to get a real sense of a person's work. And that's what most of these show entries are, 3 to 4. I don't know how many of you do shows. How many of you do shows out there of any kind? You know, art fair type or otherwise. So I can spend an awful lot of time doing exactly what I'm doing now, just filling in. I'm going kind of by memory, you know, of the space. I'm reinterpreting it in my head and presenting it to you here to get a feeling for the landscape. Oh yeah, has anybody watched that English show? It's called Landscape Artist of the Year. I have been thoroughly enjoying that, and I think they had. I don't know if they're doing more seasons or not. I honestly don't know. But last year they had one, and I really have enjoyed it so much. Okay, so let's throw some color in there just for the heck of it, because you're probably wondering if this is all I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do is add some sunset, sunrise, one of the two, just for no particular reason. This is the Ecolina. Watch this. You ready? Watch it. That's going to be so cool. Now, these are not archival, so you do want to keep them out of direct sun for any length of time. But, you know, they're just so fun to play with, so that's why I do that. I am working with some Van Gogh watercolors today. I have them here. I'll bring in some color with that. And then I have the Pantone markers, which, by the way, a lot of markers are not permanent or archival. These are archival. They are made with pigment, not dye. So very high quality markers. I've done some other videos of that, and I'll do some more coming up, I'm sure. Just touch some of that in there. Let's do some up in here too. Oh no, it's already... Let's give that a spritz. Watch what happens here. Sound effects included. And what I like is the Ecolina, the white. I use this a lot in my work because it does really fun clouds. Look at that. And again, this is abstract, representational. I'll be going into this, playing with it some more. I mean, maybe I'll... Oh, I hear a ship out there. I should be able to see it. It's coming out of the harbor down the way. Let's pour a little bit on here if I can do it successfully. Whoa, that's a little much. I got some water here in my pickle jar. And my Grillo's pickles. I don't have a palette. Oh, I do have a palette knife right up here. Some little cheap plastic one. So I can manipulate that around. Well, I kind of blended over here, but that's okay. So this is going to be multi-videos, like I said, and we'll just keep playing with this concept, working into the wet. I'm working pretty quickly relative to what I usually work. Let's see, where's that Van Dyke brown? Good thing I made a note on where things were, huh? Just gonna get a little bit over here. Can you see that? Just a little bit. Get a little bit wet. And let's just take that right across this back. Oh, I didn't get enough color, did I? Let's get that a little more. There we go. Watercolor is supposed to generally be pretty subtle. I tend to abuse that concept. I don't. I'm just not very traditional on it. And I should, but I don't know why. I just am not. Get some Van Dyke brown, maybe a titch more. I ran out of my burnt sienna. I could use a different brand, I suppose, if I could find it. This is Van Dyke brown. And let's throw some happy little green things in there. My tree got obliterated. But, you know, here's the thing. I'm going to be using probably some gouache and layering up. So, again, my watercolor techniques are maybe not considered exactly traditional. And there's some posts. You go to social media, you'll see the posts that I've made. And you can like them or not like them, I guess. Let's get a little happy green down here. Some green over this way. Moss on the rocks. And I love Payne's Gray now. I never used to. It was one of those colors that I just didn't groove with, but now I really like it. Let's do some Payne's Gray up at the top. Give a little moody sky going on. That'll blend in there nicely. Look at that, we can bring that color right down in here. In that back hill, that moody black hill, back hill. And we'll bring it right across here. Let's bring some into this too. Oh, it's just so nice. Look at that color. Payne's Gray will vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, and I looked up the history. It's kind of interesting how it came about, and you can look it up if you want. That information is currently still available online, so you can check out how it came about and when. But I really enjoy the color a lot. Now you gotta stick with me on this because this is multiple videos. We're going to build up the surface. We're going to use the markers. We're going to use some white gesso over some parts of it, and we started out with somewhat representational, and we're going to keep working this surface. So there'll be a couple more videos for sure. This is part 1, and I'm pretty excited with our progress so far. Let me pop some of this color. I'm also going to use some metallics in here too. It's gonna get crazy. Oh, and this is from the other day, if anybody watched it. This is a soft pastel, little 6-inch one. Don't know which way it goes, maybe that way. So I'll be posting more on that one, but that got further than the other one. Let's throw some of this green in here. Trace it around a little bit. Now, ideally, you should probably take this and put it in your in your little palette there, and sometimes I just throw it right out there. Let's get some green down here. And how this dries is going to be pretty different from what you're seeing right now, just so you're aware of that too. Look at the moody sky up here. And see the capillary action. That's what I find fascinating. For me, it's more about the process here than it is about the actual end result, because I learn so much when I do things like this that I just push the limits of my material. I reconsider how material is being used. All of those things are what I like to do. Let's get a Rhodesian red or pink. Yeah, Rhodesian red. A little flower down here. Let's see if it's dry enough. Look at that. This is that Pantone marker. And a little bit maybe down in here. Pretty cool. We're going to play some more with this stuff later. But right now, actually, I can use this one over here and work it right in. And don't worry if you get your nibs dirty. They will clean off. Just use a piece of clean paper and it'll clear off pretty quick. So I'm just gonna come down here, bring that down in there, and then maybe a little bit up in this center aisle here. So this will capillary. You see it's capillary. So it's carrying its color out and about. Let's throw a little bit up in here and let that work its way through everything too. Create a little bit of a angle to come in. Visual. There we go. Now it's really looking like a lot of fun. Let's help that one up a little bit over there. We can help direct it with the water. It does get kind of messy, but I really enjoy this technique of exploration. And I hope you had fun with me today too. Stay tuned for part 2 as we continue to work this into maybe a finished work, or we don't. But you know what? We had fun and we learned things today. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you, everybody. And check out the website at davidaustingallery.com, davidaustingallery.com. Be kind to each other. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.